This 16-year-old boy presented with an Psoas abscess. You see the psoas, it originates from the vertebra, and therefore the tuberculosis, the disc space can produce an abscess there. The abscess presents as a fluctuant abdominal mass in the right iliac fossa, and because of the psoas spasm, there can be scoliosis with the convexity directed away from the site of the abscess, and there can be a flexion, adduction, internal rotation, deformity of the hip. Now, this psoas spasm can also be because of an intra-articular cause, that means TB stage 2. And the method to distinguish is that in this circumstance, the rotational movements would be painful, whereas in a psoas abscess, the rotational movements will be painless and free. Now, therefore, this is a very important differential diagnosis of articular involvement of the hip. We had such a case, and I would show you how we evacuated it. In the diagram above, you see the lumbar triangle of petit. The middle third of the iliac crest is below the posterior border of the external oblique, and the anterior border of the latissimus dorsi make this triangle. If you see its base, you would find that there is the origin of the internal oblique and transversus abdominis. In the posteriormost part, you see the thoracolumbar fascia. The idea is that you pierce the skin and the subcutaneous tissue, go between the latissimus dorsi and the external oblique, pierce the thoracolumbar fascia, the colon and the kidney and everything would lie anterior to your finger, go and the quadratus lumborum, the iliac crest and the iliacus will lie posterior to it, and you'll hit the lateral border of the psoas. So through the lumbar triangle of petit, above the middle third of the iliac crest, behind the external oblique and in front of the latissimus dorsi, finger pierce the thoracolumbar fascia, which is the origin of the internal oblique and the transversus abdominis. Finger trace the internal lip of the iliac crest. Above is the anterior surface of quadratus lumborum, below the anterior surface of the iliacus. And the fingertip will hit and pierce the psoas sheath as the psoas crosses the iliac crest at its lateral border. And here is where the lateral cutaneous nerve of thigh will emerge from behind it. And then your finger will go behind the psoas. Pus will drain. Break the loculi. Press per abdomen to evacuate completely. Pack for 5 to 10 minutes for hemostasis. You can instill streptomycin or antibiotic as per culture and sensitivity. Leave a suction drain in the cavity. Close the muscle gap, subcutaneous tissue in the skin. See the photographs carefully once again to understand the process. The finger is sensate. It has eyes on its tip if the mind knows the anatomy. Now you observe the operation. Ready?
Yes, ready.
Ready?
Yes, ready. Retractor. इसका तरीका ये है कि उसको थोड़ा बस ट्रैक्टर लगाने से पहले उसको थोड़ा उठा लो इस तरह से हैं। ट्रैक्टर लगाने से पहले एक्सपोजर भी बढ़ जाता है, ब्लीडिंग है ना, तो एक्सपोजर भी बढ़ जाता है। करेक्ट है। Correct? Yes. Huh? Nice.
Now we are finding the gap between external oblique anteriorly and latissimus dorsi posteriorly. We have finger dissecting the gap till we reach the thoracolumbar fascia. Now our finger is on the iliac crest and the internal surface of the iliac crest on the iliac crest. Above is the quadratus lumborum, below the iliac crest. We trace the anterior surface of the iliac crest till it goes behind the iliopsoas.
Syringe. Syringe लो.
पीछे से उंगली निकालो ना बह जाएगा।
Syringe लो.
पीछे से उंगली निकालो ना बह जाएगा।
You can hear the tachycardia at this point. You must be careful. सिवाय फिंगर के कुछ नहीं यूज किया अंदर ना, सिवाय फिंगर के कुछ नहीं यूज किया अंदर ना.
साइलेंस
Now you press so that you evacuate completely.
देखा भाई साहब, थेरेपी को फील ही नहीं हो रहा था. देखा भाई साहब, थेरेपी को फील ही नहीं हो रहा था. एंटीबायोटिक भी ठीक हो रहा है. एंटीबायोटिक मेरी फिंगर में इसको ढूंढा. अब आप देखिए मेरी फिंगर में इसको ढूंढा.
Then you break all the loculi, irrigate with saline and hydrogen peroxide, put in a sponge and pack for hemostasis, close the muscle layer, the subcutaneous tissue, and the skin, and dress the wound. And that's how you drain a psoas abscess.